Hello students, this is Neeta Biju. Welcome back to another class of business studies. In our last class we studied about the nature and causes of business risk, and in today's class we're going to study while starting a business enterprise, what are the basic factors to be kept in mind. So that is what is the topic all about today, starting a business and its basic factors. So in today's class we'll be studying about the factors considered to start a business enterprise one by one. The first one is what to be kept in mind is selection of line of business. The second one is the size of the firm. The third one is the choice of form of ownership. The fourth one is location of business enterprise. The fifth one is financing the proposition. The sixth one is physical facilities. The seventh one is plant layout. Eighth one is competent and committed workforce. The ninth one is tax planning. The 10th one is launching an enterprise. So these are the 10 very important factors to be kept in mind while starting a business enterprise. So these are the basic factors, very essentially, which should be kept in mind before we start up with any project of business. So in today's class, students, we'll be only studying about the first 5 factors in order to start the business. So the first one is selection of the line of business. So the first very important factor to be considered by an entrepreneur is the nature and type of the business to be undertaken. So what type of business he or she should enter into that branch of business, and we have already studied in our previous classes the branch of business, the classification of business, that is industry and commerce. We can go for any type of industries. We can go for the branches of commerce, trade, or auxiliaries to trade. So this is what is known as branches of business, which has greater possibility of earning huge amount of profits. So selection of business line should be according to the profits earned, the expected amount of profits earned, where you're going to expect the maximum amount of profits, and such projects should be taken up, such branch of business should be selected. So this decision will depend upon the customer's demand and also the technical knowledge and interest the entrepreneur has for producing a particular product. So technical knowledge plus the demand of customers for a particular product, all these are very much influenced by this important factor, that is selection of line of business is very important factor to be considered before we start any business enterprise. So the entrepreneur has to have the technical knowledge and interest and have that keen, you can say, enthusiasm to produce that particular product, and that particular product should be much in demand in the market and it should satisfy the customers. So this is an important factor again. The second factor is the size of the business. So when we are talking about the size of business, it is small scale business or it may be large scale business. It depends on the operation and investment. So the size of the firm or scale of its operation is another very important decision to be taken before starting a business enterprise, that is small scale or large scale business. So this, if the demand for a proposed product is very high, if you're very confident enough that you can meet the investment expenses and you can meet the product demand and supply, then he or she can undertake large scale business, that is huge and big size of business enterprise. And if at all the risk factor is very high in any type of business or any branch of business, then it is better to undertake small scale business where investment is low, the risk factor will also be less. So when you are expecting high risk, don't go for huge or large scale business. When you are expecting huge product demand, then go for large scale business. The next factor to be considered is the choice of form of ownership. So when we are talking about the choice of form of ownership, all this in detail about this topic we're going to study in our next chapter, the forms of business ownerships. So a business organization can take any one form of business ownership, such as sole proprietorship. When one person is handling the business, it's called as sole proprietorship. Partnership, when two or more people are handling and managing the business, it is called as partnership. Joint stock company, where huge association of people are managing the business, is called as joint stock company. So there are different types of ownerships. It depends on the investment and it depends on the liability, it depends on the interest. So all these are the factors to be considered, which type of ownership you're going to select, and what you're going to decide depends upon the investment, the capital investment what you make. So if you have huge amount of money, go for bigger, you can say bigger business ownership. If you have less amount of money or capital investment, then go for smaller business unit or sole proprietorship or even maximum partnership firm. So line of business, what type of business you're going to start, as we have already studied earlier. So line of business, what type and what nature or what branch you're going to select also is very much dependent on the form of business. Legal formalities, for joint stock company for example, we have too many legal formalities to be followed. If you are ready to face all those formalities, then go for joint stock company. If you are not ready for the legal formalities, the huge, you can say very lengthy and hectic legal formalities are involved in joint stock company, and if at all you are not ready for it, go for sole proprietorship or partnership, where it's very easy without any legal formalities or with less legal formalities, you can start up with the business enterprise. So the choice of form of business ownership also should be decided before we start a business enterprise. Next one is very important again, the location of the business enterprise. So one of the very important factors to be considered before starting any business is the location of the business enterprise. Otherwise it's going to be very bad and it's going to really adversely affect the business enterprise. So what you got to check when you are selecting the location for your business enterprise is whether there is power there, availability of power, whether there is availability of workers, that is labor, availability of raw materials in order to manufacture your products, availability of services such as transportation, banking, warehousing, communication, etc. All these factors are very, very important, which should be considered while making a choice of location. So your location should be located in such a place, your business should be located in such a place that it will work out to be economic with low cost and high output. Then we have this financing the propositions. Capital is required for investment in fixed assets. So you all are aware what are these fixed assets. Fixed assets are assets like land, building, machineries and equipments. And then we have current assets. Current assets are small investments, that is like raw materials, books, debts, stock of finished goods, etc. All these are coming under current assets. And also meeting the day-to-day expenses. So capital means money or funds or finance is required for meeting all these expenses. So proper financial planning must be done in order to determine the three main factors. First of all, we should know what is the requirement of capital, how much do we need, and the source of capital. The source of capital means from where to raise the capital, from where to obtain or acquire the capital, and the best way of utilizing the capital is also a very important factor to be considered. So financing the proposition, you should have enough of funds to meet all the expenses. It may be huge expense or it may be day-to-day expenses. You should be ready with the cash flow, with the liquidity, and then only you can meet up with all the commitments. So financing the proposition, you should be strong enough in that particular investment. So this is what is all for today's class, dear students. The next 5 factors we shall discuss in our next class. I hope you have understood. Thank you.